Hey guys, today we're gonna go try to find some old video games and toys, and we're gonna fail miserably because we're going to flea markets. And if you've never been to a flea market, then well, just look and see what you got here. I mean, this place, it looks condemned, but I can assure you it's actually not. You can go inside and look at the mess that is in there. And if you've never been to a flea market before in the inner city, then congratulations, because you don't have to deal with all of this mess. Now, we've been to flea markets before. In fact, we were in the flea market at the end of the last video, but that was definitely that was a nice flea market. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't just junk thrown everywhere like in this one. And if you're wondering where this is Peddler's Mall on East Washington Street in Indianapolis. And you can just tell by the looks of it that it's seen better days. It's bad. Like, me and my friend used to come here all the time back in the day, and it's a shell of what it used to be. I mean, right here you've just got clothes laying on shelves. Back here you've got women's underwear just laying in a pile, I guess. And the big seller, just tubs of cleaning chemicals sitting out front of that one. Yeah. Don't despair though, because we do have at least one vendor back here that's trying desperately to sell a bunch of video games that he found at a garage sale and tossed it in a glass case. Got a few Xbox One games, a few PS4 games, and a whole lot of sports games for the 360 and PS3. Just exactly what you would expect to find in a place like this. Got a Nintendo 64 with an expansion card slot put in there, GameCube, and one of those shitty Wiis that doesn't connect to the internet. But really, I mean, that's about it. This is the good stuff, by the way. This is the stuff behind the case. Some Genesis games that everyone else has. An Elmo Nintendo 64 game in the glass case, by the way. Like I said, this is the good shit. And of course, every collection's finest moment, Fester's Quest on the NES. Over here in the other glass case, we've got a few Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy games, and some DS games next to those. Nothing too special, just your usual suspects of kids' games and junk like that you'd expect to find in a garage sale or a flea market. Got a rave going on over here at the jewelry case. And behind that, we've got just a pile of toys that this guy's just got sitting back on a shelf. Normally, I wouldn't mind digging through this, but I mean, it's just bad. Plus, Annabelle's over here staring at me, so we gotta go. And if you're expecting to find any classic toys or anything like that around here, then get ready for more disappointment, because this is what you get. It's a bunch of dollar store at best toys. I mean, a lot of this stuff probably isn't even good enough to go in dollar stores these days. Got your foam shooters, a pool set, other assorted crap. Like those guns that shoots those propellers that actually injures kids every time you do it. And over here you got a Dino Spinosaurus. It's got a try me thing. I desperately wanted to, but you can't. There's plastic there. Got a police playset here that comes with just about everything that a modern cop has, including a Bowie knife. And over here we've probably got the most exciting thing I've seen next to this weird Gundam looking thing. And holy shit, it's Universal War with not Darth Vader and his very tiny not stormtroopers. I actually almost bought that thing. And then of course you've got your not My Little Ponies. And here it's Lovely Pony. And if you want to get serious about finding anything in a flea market like this, then this is what you kind of got to do. Just find one of these booths that's got a ton of DVDs in it, and hope they've stuck a video game in it somewhere, and also hope that it's not Tiger Woods' PGA Tour. But yeah, this is really what it comes down to, but it's 99% of the time you're going to find a pile of Madden sitting up there. And over here we've got yet another Madden 2005 sitting in between video games, but we've also got World Championship cards sitting up here. I can finally feed my gambling addiction thanks to the PlayStation 2. And of course, it wouldn't be a crappy flea market experience without a giant glass case filled with terrible weapons. And here we go, including Jesus hanging on some guy's terrible tribal tattoo. And all of the designs that you could ever want for whatever stabby thing you can buy. Including hot pink on a switchblade. Nothing says I'm dangerous like hot pink. And neon katanas. Think about that for a minute. Somebody bought that and thought that was badass. And as I turned the corner to a bunch of mattresses that smelled like the bottom of a lake, I figured it was time to get out of here. So next up, we're going to head over to the west side of Indianapolis and maybe see if that flea market's any better than this mess. Or not. Welcome to Trader Baker's Flea Market. And while it's just a little bit better than what we got done with, it's still mostly just a bunch of mess that no one would want. But let's go in and see if we can find anything anyway. Starting things off, we've got this case up here it's actually got some video games in it, believe it or not. Got a bunch of in-box Sega Genesis games, some decent stuff here. Boogerman, Taz, Primal Rage, X-Men 2. I mean, it's not great, but hey, it's better than just looking at a bunch of Maddens, like this Madden 07 that's sitting right here. Up top, we've got a bunch of Super NES games and a PSP there. I think it's 20 bucks. 20 bucks? Yes, 20 bucks. That's not a bad deal for a PSP, actually. I'd pay 20 bucks for a PSP. Over here, we got a few more Sega Genesis games, including like Wolverine, Maximum Carnage, Echo, Altered Beast. Again, like actual fun stuff to sort of look at and not trash. And over here, we've got Castle of Illusion in the box. And behind that, everyone's favorite Simpsons game, Virtual Bart. Can't win them all. And over here, we've got a toy booth, I guess. Really not much going on. It's just a bunch of, looks like modern stuff that maybe people have bought at closeout stores and then stuck them in here. We've got a fine selection of toys that no one wanted at your local Targets and Walmarts. You kind of hope to see like collectibles, but I mean, this is all just regular stuff. Nobody wants these. Why would you put these here? But you do get Sparkle Girls, and that's worth it. But around the corner, we did actually get a few classic toys that somebody's just spread out across these shelves, including some Turtles figures like Casey Jones here that was eternally stuck to the shelf. I couldn't get him off. And we've got this weird cat action figure that I don't know what it's from, but I'm sure somebody in the comments will immediately let me know. Over here, we got a pile of old Turtles with no accessories, so that's probably not worth anything. And just a bunch of old wrestling toys from like the 90s, I think. I don't know, I don't really keep up with wrestling toys at all. But, I don't know, always kind of fun to see that stuff. But really, that's going to do it for this place. We are going to go ahead and head over to our final location, and yes, it's another flea market. But first, I'm going to put the Hulkster back over here where he belongs. Hold on to your butts, everybody, because we're going to Treasures, which is in, actually, like Mooresville, Indiana. I believe that's where it is. And this isn't the junkiest place. This is definitely a higher quality flea market. As you can see, like this, I mean, it doesn't look like it at first glance, but this booth actually has, you know, some NASCAR stuff, some memorabilia. I mean, hey, that's way better than a bunch of cleaning chemicals just sitting around. But back here in this booth, holy shit, is that a Sonic the Hedgehog mask? It is, for $5. And they say you don't find anything at flea markets. I think this instantly proves them wrong. Can't wait to wear this out at night. Over here in the same booth, we've got a small selection of Wii games, and some DVDs down here like The Simpsons, junk like that. Up here we got some PS2 games, and Future Tactics back there was actually kind of fun to see. I know that's not a very good game, but I enjoy it. I apologize for my camera work. I'm still learning that you guys can't actually see what's through my eyes, and I have to look through the actual, on the screen of what I'm recording. That makes sense, right? Over here we've got 2 Extreme for the PlayStation, and that is an all-time favorite bad game of mine. And just down the road here, we've got another ESPN Extreme Games. I did not actually play that one, but next to that, every music CD I owned in the 90s somehow. Got REM Out of Time, got Extreme Games, the CD. I actually owned this as a kid, I'm not kidding. I ended up buying this because I lost it at some point. Incubus, just so many memories right here. EMF, Gravity Kills. God, I miss that CD. And just out of nowhere, Jet Moto 2. Somebody at this booth had some great taste. And over here we've got just a bunch of like toilet stuff and jeans hanging on the wall. But out of nowhere, there's this Cuphead plushie. It's like an official Cuphead plushie. It's not bootleg or anything. But it's just sitting here next to like this stuff. Why? You know, after going to these flea markets today, I wish there was vodka in here. Back in the back of the flea market, we get something that I did not expect to see at all in this place, and that is Cruisin' World. Like like a full arcade cabinet for it. Like I remember sitting in Walmart for hours, like begging my parents for coins to play this game and Cruising USA and these types of games. I loved driving games as a kid. And this one looks pretty dusty and probably not worth the asking price. Let's see what asking price it is. $1,200 on sale, spring sale. And back here in the corner is probably one of the worst video game booths I've ever seen. If you thought the booth in the very first flea market was something else, well, this one's got a little bit more, but the quality is still way below what you would ever imagine. I mean, you do get a few PSP games here. You got Loco Roco 2, you got some Super NES games. MechWarrior 3050 ain't bad. But the rest of this stuff, like, it's just the Super Black Bass, Super Mario Duck Hunt, every single Nintendo 64 sports game you could ever want. Again, this is behind glass. This is the good stuff. Blows my mind. Over here in this case, we've got some Xbox 360 controllers going for way too much money. And just, some old accessories, like an old wireless headset for the 360. You do get a Game Boy for $70. It's kind of neat to see a Game Boy among the rest of this crap. But really, I mean, that's what you're left with. Just a whole lot of Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games. Loose batteries. None of this is in any order. It's just been tossed into a glass case for you to peruse. Over here, this guy is actually selling systems, and first up is an Atari 2600 Junior that he has for $150. I mean, it comes with 10 games, but you can buy that for like $50 on eBay. Got a PS3 Slim down here for $130. Like, what is going on? Got a few PlayStation games over here, and I mean, it's really not much. There's another one Extreme. Shit, I can have a whole Extreme collection coming at this flea market. And you know things are bad when I actually pick up a copy of Fantavision to look at it. When that's the most interesting thing you have around, you know things are bad. But back here in the opposite corner is an actual, like, cool little booth. I mean, this guy, he's kind of doing the video game stuff too, but most of it is just like really cool old toys, vintage toys even. First up though, we've got his NES, and this one's got some games with it and stuff like that. $85, that's not too bad. Like, that's way better than $150 for an Atari 2600. And down here is Super NES and a Genesis. $79 for the Super Nintendo and $60 for the Sega Genesis, which actually comes with games. I mean, it's hard driving, but hey, it's a game. But yeah, the rest of this booth was just a ton of like 60s and 70s, like records, board games, vintage toys. He does have some modern stuff in here as well, but I mean, it's really cool to see this stuff. This isn't quite my time period for stuff that I'm into, like I'm more 80s and 90s. But like, to see these old board games and these old toys from that time period, it just always fascinates me. It's always fun to see like what people did back before video games and cell phones ruined everyone's social activity. And down here we've got Alf next to a Michael Jordan. You know this booth is legit as hell. Just some really cool stuff to look at. Hey, I mean, this booth kind of won the day for me. After all the shit that we've had to deal with in this video, this booth actually kind of made up for it. And I think that's gonna actually do it. I apologize for this video. There was nothing. I thought, no, like going to 3 flea markets, we could at least find something. And if it wasn't for that one vintage toy booth that we just got done looking at, I don't think I would have put this video up. This was just bad. And let this be a lesson. If you want to go to flea markets, I mean, if you're into flea markets, then by all means. There's enough people on YouTube that genuinely find some cool stuff. But this is what I found. Like, look at this booth. What is this? Why? This is not worth my time. I don't enjoy digging through stuff like this. I mean, it's kind of funny on some level, but otherwise, nah. Anyway, join us next time when we hopefully get back to what we meant to do in these videos when we go to actual stores that carry video games and not professional knife sets. So let's just mark this one up as a loss, and I'm gonna thank you for sitting through this and watching. Hopefully next time we find some better stuff. So I'll see you guys later. And again, thanks for watching.